A socket set with an American flag stamped on the packaging. $38 at your local big box store. That same socket set, different logo, different shelf, $91. Same steel, same factory, same tolerances. The flag on the packaging is not a quality guarantee. In 2026, it is a pricing strategy. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which brands are selling you that flag and which ones are actually forging the steel behind it. The Federal Trade Commission does not care about your feelings about American manufacturing. What it cares about is whether the claim on the label is true. And in 2026, it proved that by announcing a coordinated Made in USA enforcement sweep, 3 separate actions in a single announcement, with civil penalties totaling more than $800,000. 3 companies were hit in that sweep, each for the same basic offense: putting American flags and Made in USA language on products that were not built here, resulting in individual penalties in the 6-figure range and combined penalties over $800,000. That sweep did not happen in a vacuum. It happened because a 2026 executive order directed the FTC to prioritize enforcement against false Made in America claims and to coordinate with other agencies and online marketplaces on stricter origin claim scrutiny. The rule has always been clear. To make an unqualified Made in USA claim, final assembly must occur in the United States. All significant processing must happen here. And foreign components must be only negligible, what the FTC calls all or virtually all domestic content. Not 50% domestic, not assembled here from Chinese parts, all or virtually all. Most of the brands on this list knew that rule. They just bet you wouldn't check. You're checking now. Brand number 1, Craftsman. In 1927, Craftsman tools were sold with a lifetime guarantee and a reputation built on American factory floors. Sears staked its entire hardware identity on that name for nearly a century. In 2017, Stanley Black & Decker acquired the brand for $900 million. They announced a reshoring initiative. They built a large automated Craftsman factory in Fort Worth, Texas, with tens of millions of dollars of capital investment. Press releases, ribbon cuttings, the whole performance. Not long after, that factory was shut down and a significant number of workers were affected. Public reporting and industry chatter pointed to production challenges and changing demand as reasons the reshoring experiment never fully delivered on its promise. The company's filings and statements emphasized cost and efficiency pressures more than any heroic story about bringing back American manufacturing. Stanley Black & Decker did not fail because automation is impossible. They failed because they tried to replace decades of skilled human knowledge with unproven robotics. And when the market softened after the pandemic demand spike, they had no margin for error. Today, modern Craftsman hand tools are manufactured in Mexico and other global facilities. The lifetime guarantee still exists. The domestic manufacturing does not. You are paying a premium for a name. The name no longer tells you where the tool was made. Brand number 2, SK Hand Tools. SK invented the round-head ratchet in 1934 for professional mechanics. That was not a footnote. That was a revolution. For decades, SK was the standard in serious toolboxes across North America. In July 2021, Hangzhou Great Star Industrial, a Chinese tool conglomerate, acquired the brand. By November of that same year, the historic manufacturing facility in Sycamore, Illinois, was closed. Operations relocated to Williamsport, Pennsylvania, where they now share a facility with another Great Star acquisition. Great Star's official position is that they remain committed to domestic production. In practice, their model looks more like a blended approach, increasing use of imported components alongside domestic operations, with more of SK's supply chain tied into Asian manufacturing. Longtime users argue that the metallurgy and feel that defined SK's professional reputation have changed under this model. Professional technicians who have used SK for 20 years are reporting it. The existing domestic stock is depleting. What is replacing it is not the same tool. The name survived the acquisition, the standard did not. Brand number 3, Klein Tools. Klein has been family-owned since 1857. That fact is on their website. It is in every piece of marketing they produce, and for most of the 20th century, it was backed by factories in Illinois that produced the gold standard for American electricians. Then, Klein began closing those factories. The stated reason was cost reduction. The result, as reported extensively in professional trade communities, is a perceived decline in durability and consistency. Many working electricians say modern Klein pliers feel softer and wear faster under heavy daily use. And they report more misaligned jaws on wire strippers and engagement issues on pass-through ratchet sets than they remember from older Klein tools. Klein did not sell to a Chinese conglomerate. Klein made a quieter decision to prioritize margin over metallurgy. The family still owns it. The quality control that built the reputation does not appear to be the priority it once was. European competitors, specifically German manufacturers, have captured significant market share from Klein in the professional electrical segment over the last decade. That is not a coincidence. That is the market telling you something. Brand number 4, Crescent. Crescent invented the adjustable wrench in 1907 in Jamestown, New York. At its peak during World War II, the Jamestown facility employed nearly 700 workers across 9 interconnected buildings. The adjustable wrench was so synonymous with the brand that the tool itself became generically known by the company name. The Jamestown plant closed in 1984. Production had already moved to North Carolina in 1977. Today, Crescent operates as a brand within Apex Tool Group. A large share of its hand tools, adjustable wrenches, pliers, screwdrivers, are sourced from contract manufacturers in Taiwan and China, rather than from the original Jamestown operation. The wrench that built the brand's identity is now a logo on an imported product. You are not buying the 1907 standard, you are buying the 1907 story. Brand number 5, Matco Tools. Matco operates over 1,900 franchise trucks across North America. The business model is built on convenience, relationship, and weekly payment plans. For apprentice mechanics, the truck shows up at the shop, the tools are professional grade, and the payments feel manageable. Here is what the product manuals actually say. The majority of Matco's hand tool lines, ratcheting wrenches, impact sockets, specialized pliers, are manufactured by overseas contract producers in Taiwan and China, King Tony, Cabo, private label manufacturers who supply multiple brands across multiple price points. Matco's heavy-duty toolboxes are legitimately made in Jamestown, New York. That is real. But the hand tools on those trucks, the ones you are financing at premium prices on weekly payment plans, are structurally identical to Taiwanese imports available at retail for a fraction of the cost. The markup is not paying for better steel. It is paying for the truck to show up at your shop every week. Before the 3 brands worth buying, you need the test. Because the brands on the positive list are not worth buying because someone said so. They are worth buying because they pass a standard you can verify yourself. 3 questions. Apply them to every tool brand you consider from this point forward. First, where does the raw material originate and where is it processed? Final assembly in the United States using imported steel is not domestic manufacturing, it is domestic assembly. Those are different things. One creates skilled metallurgical jobs, the other creates packaging jobs. Second, who owns the brand and when did ownership change? A brand founded in Ohio in 1927 that was acquired by a holding company in 2019 is not the same entity. The name is the same. The supply chain decisions are made by different people with different priorities. Check the ownership trail before you trust the heritage story. Third, what is the warranty and what does it actually require? A lifetime guarantee that requires you to mail the tool to a processing center in another country, wait 6 weeks, and pay shipping is not the same as a no questions asked replacement at the counter. The warranty terms tell you how much the company actually believes in the product. Run every brand through those 3 questions. The answers will do the work. Brand number 1, Wright Tool, Barberton, Ohio. Operating since 1927. Wright Tool does not assemble imported components. It hot forges its tools from a proprietary steel alloy developed and refined in-house, in the same facility where the finished tool ships from. The engineering is not marketing language. Wright Drive 2.0 and Wright Grip 2.0 are patented geometries that increase the contact surface between the tool and the fastener, distributing torque load across a larger area. That means fewer stripped fasteners. That means the tool and the bolt both last longer. Every torque wrench ships with an individual calibration certificate, not a batch certificate, not a lot number. An individual document for that specific tool, proving it was tested and verified before it left the building. Wright Tool is not cheap. It is not trying to be. What it is honest. The price reflects the steel, the process, and the engineering, not the marketing budget. If you are an ecosystem prisoner who has spent thousands on a cordless platform, and you are now questioning whether the hand tools in your bag match that investment, Wright Tool is the answer to that question. Brand number 2, Bondhus, Monticello, Minnesota. Founded in 1964 by a man who invented a better hex key and built a company around it. 60 years later, the entire catalog is still manufactured in that same Minnesota facility. The steel is called protanium. It is a proprietary alloy, custom heat treated to produce hex keys that are measurably stronger, up to 20%, and offer twice the wear resistance of standard grade alternatives. The tip geometry is chamfered to eliminate burrs and ensure a precise fit in fastener heads. The finish is a proprietary coating that provides 5 times the corrosion resistance of standard finishes. The warranty is unconditional and lifetime, not conditional on registration, not subject to normal wear exclusions. Unconditional. And the price point is competitive with imported alternatives that do not come close to the same specification. For the tool truck rebel who has been financing hex key sets on a weekly payment plan, Bondhus is the cheat code. Better steel, better geometry, better warranty, available at industrial supply counters without a truck payment attached. Brand number 3, Wright Tool. This one is the one most people in this community do not know about, and that is exactly why it belongs on this list. Wright Tool is a US-based manufacturer. They manufacture under their own name, and they also manufacture as an OEM supplier for other brands, forging pliers, punches, and chisels for companies you have heard of and trust. Here is the specific piece of information that changes the math for every budget-conscious professional watching this video. Some heavy-duty striking cap pry bars sold under major national retailers' budget house brands are American forged and often priced under $20 in many markets. Under $20, American forged. Often sitting on a shelf at a local big box store this afternoon. The legacy mourner who has been searching for domestic steel at an honest price. It has been sitting quietly on a lower shelf under a house brand label most buyers overlook. The name on the packaging may not be the one you expect, but the steel inside is exactly what you have been looking for. That is what an OEM relationship looks like when it works in the consumer's favor instead of against them. 5 brands, 3 patterns. The first pattern, heritage, is not a manufacturing standard. A founding date and a legacy story are marketing assets. They can be sold, licensed, and attached to imported products without changing a single word of the origin story. The story stays, the factory leaves. The second pattern, the premium price on a tool truck or a legacy shelf, is not paying for better steel. It is paying for the distribution model, the brand equity, and in some cases, the weekly visit to your shop. The tool inside the packaging is often the same tool available elsewhere for 60% less. The third pattern, the brands that are actually worth the money are almost never the ones with the biggest marketing presence. They are the ones that put the budget into the metallurgy instead of the campaign. They are quieter, they are harder to find, and they last longer than the brands that spend more on the flag than the forge. The test is simple. Where is the steel from? Who owns the brand today? What does the warranty actually require? Run that test on every tool you buy from this point forward. The answers will tell you everything, the packaging will not. If this investigation was useful to you, drop a comment below with the brand you trusted before today that this video just changed your mind about. That conversation is worth having. And if you want to make sure you never miss another deep dive into the real math behind the tools in your box, hit that subscribe button right now. We pull back the corporate labels and track the factory forensics every single week. Hit subscribe, and we'll see you for the next audit.